All right, Shalom. I'd like to start out with saying Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harakak Wadash Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and my elder Heroine as well. Salutation to the Archman that are pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Khanak Sa'am Ban Yasharla from the Lions Den of Yasharla camp. And this is another Lions Den news and prophecy, man. And this is the arrogant, provoking of the United States over there in the Taiwan Strait. Okay, the article says United States sends warship through Taiwan Strait near China. All right, and you already know the tensions are there are extremely high because Taiwan just inaugurated, if I'm not mistaken, their new president, and the president wasn't the one that China wanted to be in that seat. Of course, the regime is going to be set on who the United States wants there when the United States has their hands on what the politics and things that goes on in those certain countries. They did the same thing in Venezuela, did the same thing over there in Iraq and Kuwait. So every time they if somebody doesn't go conform with what the agenda that the United States and Europe is pushing, or Britain is pushing, then they're going to wage war on those people and provoke them into war, or have a proxy war with them to remove the regime that's in place and put who they want there, the puppet being controlled by the puppet master, ultimately being NATO and the European Union. Okay, now. Excuse me, sipping a little bit of ginger tea. All right, it says a United States missile destroyer at that. It says sailed through the Taiwan Strait on Wednesday for the first time in 2 months, triggering a response from the Chinese military. See, that goes along with the scripture. As for his enemies, all his enemies, he puffed at them, right? How somebody like breathing in front of your face, trying to entice you to engage in a conflict with them. That's what America's doing. United States is doing, right? But the thing about it is they feel like they're trying to lure China into a trap, but ultimately it's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai luring them into a trap. See how it shows how powerful Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is. All right, it says the USS Hasley and irate Burke class guided missile destroyer conducted a routine Taiwan Strait transit on May 8th through the waters where high seas freedoms of navigation and overflight apply in accordance with the international law. The U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet, based in Japan, said in their statement, the ship transited through a corridor in the strait that is beyond the territorial sea of any coastal state. So basically, it's like free waters. It's not, what I'm saying? There's no international laws or restrictions against it. It said of the maneuver, the first by a United States warship since the USS John Finn in March, and after a Navy P-8 Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft transited in the Taiwan Strait in international airspace last month. All right. So they're testing the waters, kind of like what Russia does when it comes to right off, like 50 miles off the coast, flies 50 miles off the coast of Alaska to trigger, right, American fighter pilots to go see about what's going on, and then they turn back and head back to Russia. Right. So just provoking them to engage in a conflict, and then falling back at playing the victim. It says the 110. Wait, hold on. It says Colonel Li Ji, a spokesperson for China's Eastern Theater Command, facing the strait, and said Chinese air and naval forces were dispatched to track and monitor the Hasley. All right. So, like I said, yeah, that's what, like, when Russia does that to the airspace over there off the coast of Alaska, the same thing happens for as far as like they send jets to monitor and investigate what's going on. So that's what they're trying to provoke China into doing, but they're doing it a little bit more extreme with sending like a destroyer through there. All right. It says China military online, the official portal of the country's armed forces, called it a provocative move. Right. Provocation of war. What? Provoking them to war. Right. Trying to provoke them. All right. It's like, what the heck? Phone just flipping all over the place. A provocative move made by the United States of America, which they always do that. All right. So it says the 110-mile waterway, home to some of the most important shipping lines in the world, separates the Chinese maritime from the Taiwan, which Communist Party leaders in Beijing claim as part of China's territory, despite the TP's rejection and the Taiwanese public declaring interest in a cross-strait political union, right? But still being not being connected to China. Taiwan, because of the influences of the United States, does not want to have any parts of China. Okay. It says Washington has been Taipei's strongest international breaker and main arms supplier for decades, even after the cutting diplomatic ties in favor of Beijing in 1979, right? Because that's what China is referring to, saying that Taiwan is really a part of them, right? It says, officially, the United States takes no position on sovereignty over Taiwan, but it insists that the political differences be resolved peacefully. And its presence in the Taiwan Strait and in the waters of the Western Pacific has long been considered a signal of resolve and a message to China's leaders that American military intervention in any cross-strait crisis is possible, even likely. All right, so they're showing their support for it. So, like, if China would try to do what Russia is doing with Ukraine, the annexation, because it was once a part of the USSR, the Soviet Union, right? They would say they would be met by force by United States military. That's a very likely thing to happen. That's where these provocations are coming from. America's playing poker, but pretty soon China's going to call the United States bluff. Okay. It says, the United States has sailed or flown through the strait 4 times this year. After it, along with the U.S. Coast Guard and allied navies, made 11 transits last year and 10 in 2022. Hazley's transit through the Taiwan Strait demonstrates the United States' commitment to upholding freedom of navigation for all nations as a principle, said the 7th Fleet. The United States military flies, sails, and operates anywhere international law allows. But according to who? They're creating these laws that's imposing their will on these other nations, like China, like Russia, like Iran. America is doing all this separation and dividing and causing of conflicts between individuals. Like, those Ukrainians are Russians, man. Those Taiwanians are Chinese, and so on and so forth. But Esau doesn't care about what families he separates and tears apart when it comes to his agenda, man. He wants to do whatever is according to his thought process and will, because he wants to put himself as he's a god. All right. Let's get Psalms chapter 10 verse 1. It says, "Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thyself in thy times of trouble?" Right, because that's all America brings on the earth is terror and wickedness, man. That's all Esau brings on the earth is terror and wickedness. But all that terror and wickedness that he's going to wreak, all the havoc that he's going to wreak in the earth is going to come. It's going to fall right upon him, man. You know. All right. It says, verse 2. It says, the wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let him be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Right. Those devices that they have imagined, Esau's imagined is, you know, him taking over the whole world and putting together devices to implement that plan. But that implementation of that plan is going to lead him all the way to his destruction, man. All right. It's Habakkuk 2:4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Right. So our faith increases when we see these things happening, when we see the provoking of China to come into a war with the United States. All right. This is Psalms 10:3. It says, for the wicked boasts of his heart's desire. Right. But the heart that's within him is not upright. Slacky, couldn't get it out. His heart that's in him is not upright, and the only thing he thinks about is wickedness, right? It says, the wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor, let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Psalms 10:3, it says, for the wicked boasts of his heart's desire. All right. And bless the covetous whom the Lord abhorreth. Right. So they put these individuals, bless these individuals with positions that as long as they go according to the will of their plan, right? That's why they split up these regimes, split up these countries, split up these nations, right? And put puppet rulers in place that are going to go conform to their agenda, right? That they bless the covetous. Anybody that's going to be like them and go according to their plan, they're going to bless them, right? Anything that goes against it, they're going to persecute. Verse 4, it says, the wicked through his pride and his countenance will not seek after Yahweh, right? Because he thinks there's nothing beyond him. It's just him. But Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to show them that they're just a man. It says Yahweh is not in his thoughts. It says his ways are grievous, right? Thy judgments are far above out of his sight, right? He doesn't understand the judgments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He's going to understand it when he feels it. All right. It says, as for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. All right. And that puffeth is the same thing in the article that said this is a provocative move by the United States, man. All right. It says, pawak. All right. It says to blow with the breath, to air, to hence, to fan, right? Like that's like fanning how the Lord sending enemies to fan, to scatter, you know. All right. It says to utter, to kindle, to scoff, to blow, to break off, to bring to a snare, right? To bring to a snare, man. All right. So so to bring to a snare, what? Trying to set China up into a trap to engage in a conflict with United States. But however, that same trap that he's trying to set, the Lord is setting for him. All right, let me get Jeremiah. I think it's let me see. Jeremiah 50. All right, yeah, Jeremiah 50:24, it says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art taken, O Babylon. Right, while they're trying to provoke people into a conflict, the Lord is doing all the provoking America to be destroyed. And thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Right, and he had put his hands on the apple of the Lord's eye, his people, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which makes up the children of Israel, you know. So all these things all this wickedness that America and Esau is sowing into the earth, it's going to fall right back upon them, upon their head, man. All right, Lord, willing this lesson to edify and serve his purpose. With that, I'd like to say, Ka Halayim La Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Harakak Wadash, my Amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and my elder Heroine as well. Salutation to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.